And joining us on the debate tonight from the AIADMK, we have Mr. Durai Pandayan, member legal wing, and also Mr. K.C. Palanisamy, both of whom believe that O. Paneerselvam has every right to stake his claim to continue leading the government as Chief Minister. Also with us this evening, KTS Tulsi, MP, Rajya Sabha and former Additional Solicitor General of India, Gaurav Bhatia, lawyer, Supreme Court. He's with us from Delhi. But I'd like to start with a senior journalist, R. Rajagopalan, who's with us in the Noida studios. Mr. Rajagopalan, we will be looking at the options before the governor in further detail, but I'd like to start with you with the basic question that is on everyone's lips right now, which is O. Paneerselvam's protest may have been dramatic, but the question is how effective will it be? Does he have the numbers that he needs? And if he doesn't, then are all these theatrics going to amount to anything?
O. Paneerselvam does have public support. He may not have number counts of MLAs. He may not cross 10 to 15. But at the same time, even on your Times Now Twitter poll, he was ruling the roost.
But in the House, it's the numbers of the MLAs that are going to matter.
I'm coming to the point. Sasikala has great numbers. But according to Paneerselvam, they are kept as a hostage in a city hotel there. Therefore, unless they are unleashed, then nothing can be said because the truth will not come out. He claims that he has the support of all MLAs, and he also said in Tamil, Dharmam Sodu Vellu Kavam. That means, truth will triumph. Therefore, we have to wait and watch. Even during Jallikattu, he said you will get a good news. They got a good news through ordinance. After discussing with governor, he mentioned that the truth will triumph. That means he has got some sort of understanding after meeting the governor. Okay. He has that number of strength, which Mr. N.K. Salve also confirmed that floor test, Harish Salve should confirm that floor test is important. Therefore, Tamil Nadu is heading for a floor test.
Before I get the legal luminaries KTS Tulsi and Gaurav Bhatia into the debate, let me go across to Durai Pandayan, member of the legal wing of the AIADMK. Mr. Durai Pandayan, do you think Sasikala's numbers really hold the trick? If she is so sure of her numbers, why is she locking up and keeping all her MLAs in the beach resort in Mahabalipuram? Why does she need to do that if she is so confident about her numbers?
Out of fear. It is out of fear, mere fear and nothing else. If she has the guts to release all these MLAs to their respective homes, then there will be a real contest between Mr. OPS and Madam Sasikala. In here, the whole clout has been taken as, like a livestock in 3 buses, and they are made to sit somewhere, say about 45 to 50 kilometers away from city. Now, we can file an application, as I told you earlier, in public interest litigation.
Mr. Durai Pandayan, I'm sorry to interject, but the fact is, you say these MLAs were herded. The fact is that all these MLAs were in fact at the party headquarters, after which they were taken. It's not as if they were taken from their homes at gunpoint. They were at the party headquarters. We know that Sasikala has been talking about all the signed letters of support that she has. So at the moment, this is really just an allegation that they are being held against their will.
Okay. No. It is not an allegation. It is all true. Now, presuming for a moment you take it, let us understand, undertake that, what your presentation is right. Why did about 10 to 12 MLAs manage to escape from that place and are coming and standing behind Mr. OPS? You tell me. This is the place where you got to answer. You tell me, ma.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. KTS Tulsi, let's get a legal fix MLAs on what are the options.
Now it is
for
120.
5 days, the governor.
Now it is 120.
Yes, Mr. Durai Pandayan, let's take that question to the legal people on our panelists. Mr. KTS Tulsi, the governor has kept a decision at bay for the last 5 days. Can he actually keep the decision pending for any longer? Who does he give a chance to prove the majority on the floor of the House? To Paneerselvam, who says his resignation was taken under duress, or to Sasikala, who's put on the table 129 letters of support of her MLAs?
You see, actually the current mess that is a creation of the governor himself by deterring from taking a decision. The governor can't be deserting the ship. He had to be in a state which is facing crisis, and he chooses to go away from there. I think that the Chief Minister, Mr. Panneerselvam, has resigned. He himself took the letter of resignation to the governor, handed it over, and after that now he says that it was under coercion. If a person who is the Chief Minister, the serving Chief Minister, can be coerced into signing and then going by himself to the governor and handing it over, then what kind of a person? He is completely unfit to be a Chief Minister. How is he going to protect the state?
Okay. So, Mr. KTS Tulsi, Mr. Rajagopalan's pointing out a point that we have brought up earlier on Newshour also, which is the fact that there was an indication that perhaps he was not fully in agreement with this resignation himself, because he did not in fact mention Sasikala in the resignation. He had talked about personal reasons, and therefore later on he says that I was forced to resign. Also, as you were talking about the delay, well, we're just asking a question. Could the delay also have something to do perhaps with the Supreme Court judgment on the disproportionate assets case, which is pending? Because should that be an adverse judgment for Sasikala, then once again that is going to throw the state into a state of limbo. So perhaps that could be one of the reasons for just waiting this out, according to you?
No, it can't be, because she is acquitted by the High Court. Now there is no disqualification which is in operation. Her judgment of acquittal is in operation. If the case has been heard and judgment reserved 6 months ago, and the judgment will come and it will have its say. The governor has to decide the disqualification issue on the time when he is taking a decision. When the claim has been made that she is the leader of the majority party in the Legislative Assembly, he can't then delay matters deliberately to allow horse trading. This is what is happening. The members of the Legislative Assembly are trying to protect themselves from the poaching by the Chief Minister, who is caretaker Chief Minister.
So Gaurav Bhatia,
the resignation was accepted.
So Gaurav Bhatia, do you think? No. So Gaurav Bhatia, do you think it's the people's choice, because Panneerselvam seems to have the people's support? People's choice versus numbers on the table. Is the governor going to be influenced only by the numbers, or is he also going to be influenced by the people's verdict, which is something that you see on the ground for Panneerselvam?
Navika, let's take it one by one. First, the role of the governor. I agree with Mr. KTS Tulsi that he should have been in the state of Tamil Nadu over the last 3 days, because there is a lot happening there and it is his constitutional duty to be there. Second, we have seen how political persons and not apolitical persons, as directed by the Supreme Court, have been appointed governors, and therefore we see crisis that has emerged not in Tamil Nadu alone but in Uttarakhand as well, and in Arunachal. Your question regarding whether it should be people's choice or MLAs siding with one leader, I must tell you that when an MLA is elected, he is elected for a 5-year period, and people's choice is represented in the election of the MLA. Now what the governor has to decide is that the leader that has been chosen by the MLAs is out of free will, and they have not been coerced or threatened to select Shashikala as their leader. To uphold the constitutional principles, the governor can always talk to the MLAs and determine who has the majority in terms of the MLAs of the AIADMK.
But do you think that,
and then comes
do you think the assessment,
the majority of
Gaurav Bhatia, do you think the assessment of that has to happen in the Raj Bhavan, or the assessment of the support of MLAs has to be decided on the floor of the House? How can it be done in the Raj Bhavan when actually in the SR Bomai case it's been clearly pointed out that it's only on the floor of the Assembly that support can be actually judged?
Let me clarify, this is an unprecedented situation on the floor of the House, a particular party proves its majority because that is required to run the government. But here we are talking about a situation, who is the leader of that party? And if democracy has to survive, then the governor has to also ensure that MLAs acting independently out of their free will has chosen a leader and they have not been threatened or coerced, because that is the first step. And then the second step would be whoever the leader is, he has to prove the majority in the House.
But Gaurav, even if that's the case, why would a floor test not be the most sensible option available? Even if that is, as you're saying, it's not a matter of one party trying to prove a majority.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will answer that. Democracy survives only when independently MLAs can take a decision, be it outside the House or inside the House. If a leader, by the virtue of the position that she enjoys, has threatened the MLAs or has forced the MLAs, and then she has become the leader, I think, they will be under tremendous pressure to not act freely. And that is why the first step is to ensure that they are able to first select their leader independently. And then, the party will be able to prove majority. And I think the governor's duty here is of
politically it is not possible, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. Politically you can be right on
let's get in Mr. C. Rajashekharan, who's also a lawyer. Mr. C. Rajashekharan, do you determine which way legislators are going on the floor of the House, or you determine it outside the House? This is a specific case, and Harish Salve, former Solicitor General, who was on our show just a short while ago, said that there have to be two resolutions that have to be brought on the floor of the House. One where O. Paneerselvam has to show his support. The other where Sasikala has to show her support. One of those two resolutions brought back to back in the House will be upheld. The other will be defeated. Is that the best way forward for the governor, or do you think the governor calling one of the two individuals will give that individual an advantage in proving his majority? If O. Paneerselvam is called in first, he has the advantage in proving his majority, whereas if Sasikala is called first, she will have the advantage.
Navika, see, it is very interesting, tricky situation in the state of Tamil Nadu. I am a voter. I voted for Madam Dr. Jayalalitha and AIADMK for the second consecutive term. See, people don't want DMK supported AIADMK government in the state. So people who voted for AIADMK want a full AIADMK government supported by the majority MLAs of AIADMK party. So who has the majority has to be invited in the floor.
But AIADMK is splitting.
No, let me finish.
Rajashekharan, AIADMK got split.
Rajagapalan, don't impose your opinion. See, as a voter, I should...
DMK is split, I see. AIADMK is split.
Rajagapalan, please understand, I am not saying AIADMK is not split. Let it split. But it will be understood only in the floor of the House. Let the governor immediately call for a floor test in the assembly.
So you're still not answering...
No, it has to be done.
So you're still not answering the question, Mr. Rajashekharan, on whether two resolutions should be brought, one for Paneerselvam, one for Sasikala, or should one person be given the advantage of, showing his support on the floor of the House?
See, there are umpteen number of precedents calling the person to prove his strength in the assembly. So it is a prerogative and which on merits. The governor has to act in an unbiased manner. See, 72 hours he didn't turn up to the state of Tamil Nadu. It's very saddening. At least I'm happy. I want to congratulate the governor of Tamil Nadu. He has landed today. He has taken a call. He has met both the persons who are involved in this crisis, and he has to go by the merit of the matter and ensure who has got the majority should form the government. We don't want a government supported by DMK because we didn't vote for DMK. That is the matter. That is the crux of the whole issue. But you are trusting something.
Well, okay, so Mr. Rajashekharan, Mr. Rajashekharan, that also, that situation arises only if 2/3 of the numbers are with O. Paneerselvam.
Yes,
so at the moment, it's not even on the horizon because he has at the moment just a handful of MLAs with him. So, let's not get into the DMK support angle right now, but I'd like to go to KC Palanisamy at the moment. Now, the accusation from the Paneerselvam camp is that the appointment of Sasikala as General Secretary of the party itself is not as per the laws of the AIADMK constitution. constitution. Do you believe that this argument is going to hold water with the governor? Because we understand this is also something that Mr. Panneerselvam presented in front of the governor today.
Yeah. See, the election was held as per the party manifesto. People have voted for two-leaf symbol for the party than to the individuals. I think the first thing, when Ms. Sasikala got elected, that time Mr. Panneerselvam was there. And subsequent to her election, there is a huge backout by the MLAs. And Mr. Panneerselvam having submitted his resignation, that doesn't debar him in claiming his stakes. Now he has made his claim before the governor. He should be given the first opportunity to prove his majority in the assembly. Before that, I think governor first should direct the DGP or the officers or to whomever to release the MLAs, as rightly pointed out by our panelists, that they should apply their mind freely. They should be permitted to think calm for a couple of days and come for the assembly. In the floor of the house, Mr. Panneerselvam should be given the chance to prove his majority. And this dual resolution may not work for Tamil Nadu.
So Mr. KTS
I was a member of legislative...
Mr. KTS Tulsi.
Now just one point.
Do you think
in 1988 when
Mr.
late
KTS
MGR passed away, there were huge manhandling inside the assembly. So this dual resolution will create some sort of an uneasiness in the assembly. First, Mr. Panneerselvam should be given the opportunity to prove his majority.
Okay, Mr. KTS Tulsi, do you believe that calling O Panneerselvam is the best choice before the governor, or do you think that will give him an unlikely advantage given the fact that Sasikala is not even an MLA at this point? Even if she is elected as the leader of the party, she still has to stand for elections and be elected to the house in the next 6 months. So will calling of O Panneerselvam be the right choice for the governor?
I don't think so. It has never happened that a person who has 10 MLAs will be given the chance to prove his majority, and the person who has the support of 130 MLAs will not be asked to prove the majority.
It happened in Chandrasekhar regime.
That has to be proved on the floor of the house.
Congress supported Chandrasekhar.
Mr. KTS.
Former Prime Minister 1991.
Also, Mr. KTS,
Chandrasekhar never had 60 MLA MPs.
That O Panneerselvam says that Sasikala does not in fact have the numbers, and that these MLAs are being held hostage literally in that hotel against their will. So should this accusation also be taken into consideration by the governor?
And Mr. KTS Tulsi, do you look at letters of support outside the house, or do you look at support on the floor of the house? Which is more important?
No, support has to be judged on the floor of the house, but I cannot understand.
Outside the house also you can hold.
Back
Outside
to back.
the house also
she
you
has
can
to be
hold.
sworn
There is a
in,
president.
and then she will be
at the
asked
time
to
when
prove her majority
Project
on the floor
Amma
of the
was
house.
convicted.
That is the only procedure that is known to the law
was held in
and the
the
constitution.
Raj Bhavan.
The only way is swear her in and then ask her to prove the majority within 2 days or one day.
Okay, so Durai,
why not the contrary? Why not the contrary? Why not swear in Panneerselvam and ask him to prove the majority, because he is already a sitting chief minister?
Because Panneerselvam has only 10 people with him. Panneerselvam has 10 people with him.
But that will be proved on the floor of the house, Mr. KTS Tulsi.
How can you allow
okay, let me put that to Gaurav Bhatia also. Gaurav Bhatia, as Mr. KTS Tulsi is saying, the governor cannot give the advantage to O Panneerselvam because he has only 10 odd or 11 odd MLAs with him. But the accusation from Panneerselvam is that he in fact has many more. It's just that the MLAs are being held against their will at this resort. So do you believe that accusation is something that the governor must also take into consideration?
It's only that Panneerselvam is being prevented from poaching.
I would completely agree with that the governor should take that into consideration, for the reason when you take these MLAs to a guest house, you're actually abducting democracy, because we do expect MLAs to take decision freely with their independent mind. And whoever has higher number of MLAs supporting him or her becomes the leader of that party. But what we have to determine is that their decision is independent and has not been coerced, or they have not been threatened to take that decision. And second, and very importantly, I would also like to say that whoever is called first to prove the majority on the floor of the House will definitely have a distinct advantage, because MLAs will go with the person who will get the first opportunity. And that is why I will reiterate what I said earlier, that one exercise that the governor must imperatively undertake is ensure that those 129 MLAs that Shashikala says is supporting her as the leader, their decision is out of free will and they have not been forced to do so. And if he is satisfied, then he should invite Ms. Shashikala to prove her majority. But if after talking to the MLA,
so which side will the governor be satisfied by? Which side will the governor believe has all the cards in their hands? That's the big question. Will the governor call both O. Panneerselvam and Sasikala with two resolutions on the floor of the House as suggested by legal luminary Harish Salve, or do you think he will call one of the two, O. Panneerselvam or Sasikala, to prove their majority? Because whichever side is called will have the unfair advantage, because that's the direction in which MLAs are likely to go. That's the feeling most people in Chennai at this moment hold. Whichever way you look at it, it's a political thriller. The next decision of the governor is being closely monitored by Times Now. Times Now will keep you ahead on what really happens finally from Raj Bhavan in Chennai. Thank you very much to all our panelists for joining us here on debate number 1.